Hello, everyone. I'm Danny, and this is kind of the wrap up of my 30-day challenge. We're going to just talk about some different things. Nikki's going to ask me some questions I think that have been asked over the 30 days, just about some different topics, and we'll see how it goes.
All right, question number one. Why did you start the 30-day challenge and what was it exactly?
Because you told me to, drill sergeant. I'm just kidding. I think the overall reason was just to try and feel better. I've struggled with sinus issues pretty bad for like the last year or so, maybe a little longer, but really my whole life. But it's been really bad like the last year. So just trying to see if anything else could help. This is usually the time of year where things, lots of allergies, fall allergies, harvest is starting up. School year, stress, all that stuff. So just trying to see if it would help.
Okay. All right, and then could you also explain kind of what you did for the challenge?
So what I did is I worked with an amazing instructor and had, supposed to be 10 minutes a day. Sometimes it was more like 15, 16, 17. But just try to find some videos, one that I could do, because going into this not super coordinated. Some of the moves are pretty difficult, especially trying to keep up with a faster pace. Trying to figure out how to fit it into the schedule. So most of the time it was before I went to work. So I work like a part-time job when I'm not teaching, and so those days were really early. It was like 4:45. Trying to get up and do that. I think for me, it's easier to get it done in the morning than try to figure out how to fit it in later in the day, or sometimes I think later in the day I'm ready to take a nap and just relax and not work out. So most of them were early in the morning.
And I'll add to that, the word beginner is very subjective, and Danny's not new to fitness. He's done lots of different types of fitness throughout his life. So the videos I selected, I would say, are beginner friendly for people who are not new to fitness. If you're new to fitness, there are other playlists on my channel. The 15-day senior challenge is great, the 30 days to 30 minutes, but this challenge in particular was 10 minutes for 30 days with videos that were beginner friendly to someone who is not new to fitness. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so first, results. Let's talk about some results. If you could start with the kind of mental health, emotional results that you experienced from 30 days of consistent rebounding.
I think overall, just maybe less stress. I talked about a little bit ago that this is usually a really high stress time, getting back into the swing of teaching. Usually the fall kids activities pick up. There's just more, it feels like more going on, even though there's a lot going on in the summer too. But I think overall I feel less stressed and less down over the last 30 days than I feel like I would have, or I have been in previous years. I don't think my mood changed as much in this first part of the school year as it does, I think most of the time. So I think that was overall beneficial. I don't know if I'm the right one to ask about my mood, but
I can add to that just a little bit. Having been married to this fella for 25 years, the last year was really difficult. This is just my perspective, but last year at this time, Danny got 2 back-to-back COVID infections that really knocked him down energy-wise, and I think that impacted his overall mood, right? Mm-hmm. And so this year has been a struggle just to kind of have energy and to feel better. And so you've been under the care of a physician trying to work through some of these things, and you've tried some different methods, and this was kind of an effort to try something different. And I think energy-wise, you've been way better. You've had a lot more energy, especially since you're working the part-time job now. And so I've noticed definitely an increase in energy and mood and just overall, I think, improved mental health.
Yeah.
So let's go to the physical benefits now. So we know that you started this challenge hoping it would improve your sinus condition. You touched on that a little bit at the beginning, but if you could talk about that. And then one thing a lot of people have asked about is weight loss or body changes. So if you want to touch on that, that would be great.
We'll start with the sinuses. I think it's really difficult to say whether it's helped or not. I don't want to say I don't know. I mean, I think it does help. I think it helps me clear out some junk, but there's also a lot of other stuff going on that makes it challenging to figure out if it's really helping me to get rid of some of those issues. One is, like I talked about, the fall allergies, harvest, all the dust in the air. One of the things I'm allergic to is dust. And then the stress of the school year. I also started immunotherapy, and so injecting allergens and trying to build up a tolerance to that. So I think one of the really positive things is I don't think any of it's gotten worse. I think it has maybe helped a little bit, but again, I've got all these other things going on that are kind of pushing against that, and so it's really it's really difficult to have a really solid answer on that, but I do think it has kind of pushed back against some of those things that normally would have caused me to get a sinus infection or something like that. So I'd say that's a win. As far as weight loss, I have no idea what I weigh. We don't have a scale. I don't care. But I would say that I feel like I have better muscle tone now. I don't know that my body has changed a lot, but maybe just feel more tone. I feel like I'm working my legs a lot more than I normally would. And I feel that, especially with some of the workouts. But yeah, no, I think those are the big things that I notice.
I think too, one thing that's difficult to measure sometimes is just the improvement in balance and coordination and rhythm. And our focus is not so much a number on a scale, which is one of the reasons we don't own one, but more about how we feel mentally, emotionally, and physically. So, while a certain aesthetic or body appearance might be a side effect of working out, our goal, correct me if I'm wrong, is really to feel well and live life to its fullest. So, we hope that when we're 80 years old, that we're still going hiking and swimming and golfing and all of those things. And that's our ultimate, we've got our eye on that, I guess you'd say. So, okay, I also want to mention that Danny gets way more steps than me per week. Like in terms of, his physical health and fitness, when he works his second part-time job, he comes home with like 20,000, 25,000 steps. So this man is getting a lot of exercise. I don't want people to think you were completely, sedentary before you started this. You're definitely an active individual.
I mean, I would say like over the last couple of years though, especially during the school year, like I would I won't say try to, but I felt like I needed to take naps more often, and I really haven't in the last month or so. Not that I don't want to, but so I think there are some changes in terms of energy and all of that. So yeah,
I think that kind of goes hand in hand with mental health too, which there is a stigma around men and talking about mental health, and it can be really challenging. So we appreciate Danny putting himself out there like this. But, you would come home from teaching and sometimes be in bed by dinner time, that's not happening as much now since you started this challenge. Even like we came home the other day and it'd been a long day and we'd done a lot, and then you went out to mow the yard. When I think in the past you might have had to probably lay down and rest. So definitely energy improvement. Okay. You filmed your own beginner workout, which is now available on the 𝗙𝗙𝗟𝗟𝗢𝗪 YouTube channel. What do you envision moving forward? Are you going to keep rebounding? Will they get to see more workouts with you?
I mean, that's the plan, is that I'll do more workouts. And I mean, my hope is that I get good enough at it that we can make some of the workouts either longer or maybe a little bit more challenging, just to try and keep improving in terms of coordination and being able to keep up with the beat. I'm not great with staying on beat and some of those things. So, yeah, I mean, the plan is to try and record a workout or two every week, or at least use the rebounder. I think my plan is like somewhere at least 3 times a week, maybe more. It just kind of depends on how it fits in the schedule, but that's the plan. And especially if I'm doing longer workouts, it might have to be more like 3 times a week, just trying to fit it into the schedule and figure out how that works, because I may not have enough time to do like a 30-minute workout at 4:30 in the morning.
And there is a playlist on the 𝗙𝗙𝗟𝗟𝗪𝗪 channel called Workouts with Danny. And the first workout we ever filmed together, it's probably been a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. And it's called Reality versus Expectation, or Expectation versus Reality. And it shows how far you've come. If people go back, that playlist is organized by from newest to oldest, so you'd have to scroll down to the bottom to see the first workout that he was ever in, but you've come a long way. Okay, and there was something else I was going to ask along those lines. Oh, men. Why should men rebound? I mean, I think that's part of our goal. My goal as a business owner is we've got a lot of women watching, and I think a lot of women who would love to draw their husbands into this. Why do you think men are maybe a little reluctant, or how can we convince the fellas to give this a whirl?
Well, I mean, I think it's probably like anything, like yoga or any other forms of exercise that you see a lot of women doing. There's a reluctance because men maybe think that it's not for them or something to that effect. But I mean, I think really if you're looking for low impact, like I used to run a lot and it really hurt. You know, my joints, my knees, my ankles, my feet. And I don't really get that when I'm rebounding, but I still feel like I get the cardio. I'm still breathing hard. I think maybe some men think that, oh, well, that's too easy of a workout. And they don't know that, no, it's hard as shit, right? Like you're going to work. And especially if you start adding weights to it and trying to do some other things. And I think maybe that's one of the things that maybe I'll try to do is add in some weights, or where we're doing some bouncing for 10 or 15 minutes and then we do some weights for 10 or 15 minutes. Maybe that would be something that might draw them in because it feels more like strength training or something like that. Even though I feel like this is strength training. Like I said, I feel like I'm more toned now than I was. If you're the husband of somebody that's already doing it, just jump in there. Might take you a while to figure it out like me, but that's okay.
Okay, moving on. Inquiring minds want to know, do you prefer rebounding barefoot or wearing shoes?
I'd say if I had to pick one, I'd probably say wearing shoes. I feel like when I'm wearing shoes on the rebounder, I have more stability, more control. It just feels better to me.
And I'll add to that, it doesn't matter. Do what feels right for you. Try it all. The only caveat really is if you have knee problems already, then shoes can provide a little extra stability, like Danny said, and just stability in general for your balance. And we know that this is an unstable surface, which challenges our balance. So try it all, see what you like. Okay. You've tried a few different rebounders. Anything you want to say about choosing a rebounder or features that you like? As some people may see your videos, especially maybe potentially men, maybe they're looking for a rebounder. Any thoughts?
I mean, I think the bottom line is you got to find the one that feels right. And I know it's tough when you're shopping online and stuff like that. But the Octagon, the big B can, I felt like I had more room but I feel like the Jump Sport 350 is the one that has a better feel when I bounce. I don't know. I haven't tried them all. So,
Yeah. Just from a bystander's perspective, I guess, it did look like when you had a little more room, some of the moves were a little easier for you to perform. But as you improve, you may not necessarily need that. I usually say people adapt to the size that they buy. The more room can seem appealing at first, but it's really about tension. And you can think of tension as how low you sink when you bounce down into the mat. If you have a tension that's too soft, it can really challenge people's balance to the point that they're just off. They're having trouble. If it's too firm, it can be kind of hard on your joints. So that being said, please reach out to me, Nikki@𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗢𝗪.com. You can send me your height, your weight, and what kind of workouts you're hoping to do, and I would be happy to help you select a rebounder. There are a bunch of recommendations on the Earth and Owl website, and some with discount codes too. And I don't promote rebounders that I don't like. So you can be pretty confident in those that are on the website. There are some models I like better than others or recommend because of certain features over others. So feel free to reach out. Okay. Last question, I think. What do you think of all the people that tuned into this journey? Was it expected? How did it make you feel?
Well, it made me feel good. I don't know that it was expected, but, I think especially with like the Facebook group that Nikki runs, the Rebounding for beginners and seniors, like when you have that community, when you have people that are commenting on the videos or people that are encouraging you or just recognizing the effort that you're putting in, I think that only helps. It motivates you. It's like when I'm getting up at 4:30 in the morning, knowing that people are waiting to watch it, it's more motivation to actually get up and do it. Otherwise, I think if we're left to our own devices, sometimes we come up with reasons not to, and I think just all of it helps. It was good. It was good to see all the comments and all of those things.
So if you are someone who is maybe struggling with motivation, number one, join the Facebook group if you're on Facebook, Rebounding for Beginners and Seniors, because everybody in there is really encouraging, and you can post, hey, I'm struggling, and people will kind of give you that pat on the back to keep going. The other thing is I offer live classes, and some people love the feeling of knowing that others are working out with them. There's a chat happening during the live, so a lot of people get on a few minutes in advance and say, hey, it's me, Susan, I'm here, and just kind of to get that accountability out there. The live classes are at 9:00 a.m. Central Time. Currently, they're on Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays, but depending on when you're watching this video, it could be years later. Double check the schedule. But we encourage you to try those out. Now, the live classes are available for replay, so we have followers from all over the world, so the times don't always match up. You can replay those classes at your convenience. And honestly, anything you want to know about rebounding, all the different playlists and the different courses that I offer at Earth and Owl, all of that information can be found at 𝗙𝗙𝗟𝗟𝗢𝗪.com. So the future is bright for Danny and rebounding, and we're going to be seeing more of him on the channel. So
make sure you subscribe if you're not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, that you do that, and become a member, because that's where some of my videos are going to be.
All right. See you later, everyone.